Making offers to an investor. And we have a question that came in, and I think we should dive right in. The question goes, if a seller offers you $450,000. Hey, this is Ola coming to you live from my myEmpirePRO studios. I'm the author of Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. I'm also the creator of 11 Days Challenge. On this episode, we're talking about making offers to an investor. And we have a question that came in, and I think we should dive right in. The question goes, if a seller offers you $450,000 on a property that the ARV is $535,000 and needs $5,000 worth of repairs because they've done most of the upgrading already. They are an investor themselves, so they know the market. The property is in Maryland and they have a realtor already. Would this possibly be a deal? He says there's a $80,000 profit. I personally don't see it, but what do you think? Good question. Now, first of all, why is this person asking this question? They are a wholesaler, wannabe, newbie, maybe a little bit intermediate, definitely not savvy, which is okay. But I think we should dive into this question. There's a lot of things going on in this question. There's a lot of things that that's spitting out at me that I just know that it's a complete mistake, and we're going to sort that out together. But what is real estate wholesaling? Real estate wholesaling is the heart and science of finding deeply discounted properties. Those kind comes from motivated sellers, distressed sellers, people that need to get rid of a property, locking the property under contract, okay, and then selling the right to execute that contract, cheaper price, right, to an investor who will actually do the deal. You sell it for a fee. That fee could be anywhere from $1,000 to $82,000. My personal experience from one deal. It could be more, okay? But that's the key thing right there. You're looking for distressed situations, discounted properties. For the most part, they come from a distressed seller, somebody that has a property, liability property. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to fix it up. They just want to get rid of it, right? That's where it comes from, okay? So that's typically what you should be looking to work with. So right there's a big mistake of dealing with a seller who is not a motivated seller. And yeah, I know it can be a little bit confusing because this person is an investor themselves. So what could go wrong? They're an investor themselves. Well, what could go wrong is that you're on the wrong side of the equation when it comes to negotiations. Okay, you're on the wrong side of the sales of a transaction. You're supposed to be the buyer, not the seller. Okay, and what makes you a buyer and a seller is your actions, not necessarily the terminologies. Yes, you've used the right terminologies, a seller who is an investor, but really in this position, which I'm going to go over again, right? This position, you are now the buyer because they're making you an offer. You're the one buying an offer. You're supposed to be making an offer. You're a buyer. You're supposed to be making an offer, not the other way around. So again, look at your actions. Does your actions put you in control as a buyer of the situation? As a buyer of the situation, you should be in control. As an investor, right, there are times that you're a seller and you need to be in control. This investor has basically assumed that position, and they're kind of getting you to be the buyer. But a buyer who is being made an offer, okay, that's not really a wholesaler or a cash buyer investor any longer. You're now the sucker, okay? So not that anyone should be a sucker, don't get me wrong. However, you definitely should maintain a certain level of control when you're dealing with this kind of business model, real estate wholesaling, okay? And that is, you're making the offer and you have a price, you have a formula for your price, okay? That's going to be 65% of ARV after repair value, okay, minus less the estimated cost of repair. And that's the number right there. And then you can be obviously be flexible depending on your market, depending on how much you know the market, depending how much room, depending is it a high-end deal or not. Depends. more importantly, the motivation of the person selling is very, very important. Everything else is not as important. If the person that's selling really has a problem that you can solve, then you're in a good position. But if they don't have a problem that you can solve, they may have a problem, they don't feel you can solve it. That means you should go deal with other leads. You should be generating so much leads into your pipeline, you really don't have time to be dealing with somebody that's not motivated enough. Most of your time should be on generating more leads. And then once you find a lead that's interested in operating on your terms of being a buyer, and then you dig in deeper, right? Then you find out how much they're interested. But if they are showing you right now that they're not motivated, they're not truly distressed seller, they're not looking to sell at a discount, right? Motivation, distress situation, which is not a must. They may just be motivated to sell. But distressed, it means there's a real problem that you can solve by the idea of you being present to purchase the property or connect the property with the person that will execute all the way through the purchase transaction, right? So that's very important before we dive back into the question. So here's the question again. A seller offers you $450,000 on a property, meaning they said this is my asking price. That's really an asking price, not an offer. Okay, once they give you an asking price, it's time for you to make an offer based on your own formulas. Okay, 65% of ARV. That means you need to have your own formula of finding ARV. You need to find the ARV of the property. What is the property worth? You can simply go on Zillow and look at that area, look at the same size of property, and come up with your own little formula of what the property is worth. You can see that, a little bit of analysis, you will see what the property is worth, okay? Just by comparing apples to apples, oranges to oranges. How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, right? There are tools to help you simplify that. You don't have to. You could go to abcrealestate.com, I think, abcrealestate.com, and you can find out what the property is worth, okay? So you don't have to overthink it. You can use tools, or you can go to Zillow.com and find out what the property is worth. The after repair, what are properties in good condition being sold by actual agents? What are they being sold for within 1 mile radius in the last 6 months? No more than that. 1 mile radius in the last 6 months, okay? So once you find that number for yourself, not the number they tell you, okay? So you may say, what do you think the property is worth? They're going to tell you a number. The reason why you ask that question is not so you can use their number, so you can see where their mind is in terms of motivation. If the property, after you do your own research, is worth $400,000, but they told you it's worth $600,000, what does that tell you? They're not truly motivated. You probably should not waste your time. The next question should be, why do you want to sell? Why you should want to sell? I just want to sell. It's just time to put on the market. Just a choice. That's not motivation. That's something for agents to deal with. You may say, hey, you may even switch the conversation to, let me help you get the most money we can get for the property. You want me to connect you with my agent? And then you connect them with an agent, and you can make kickbacks on the side. You get a license so you can make some money if it's required. Okay? Do you understand that? Okay? You stick strictly with solving problems. That's how you make money, okay? Let's see here. So let's dive in a little bit deeper, because it's gonna be 1 second here. My computer went to screen saving, so excuse me. All right, so that the AR on the they're offering you $450 is an asking price on an ARV $535. Needs $5,000 worth of repairs, okay? Because they've done most of the upgrading already. That's a typical classic thing that an investor who is trying to sucker you into a deal will tell you. We've done most of the upgrading, right? They actually, if they're savvy enough, they already know that you're wasting their time. You're just another wholesaler who came in the game yesterday. And the bottom line is this: if you find that a property is owned by an investor and they're telling you most of the upgrading is done, and you can tell in their tone that they're not really motivated, there's a way you can tell they're not motivated. They sound like you're wasting their time on the phone, right? But they're kind of like being nice to you, right? They will tell you things like, most of the upgrading is done. If somebody is motivated and they're an investor, here's what you're going to hear, okay? Listen to this, write this down. You're going to hear, I'm stuck with a stupid property. I thought, it's a lot more work than I thought, and I need to get rid of it. Do you have people that may be interested in this deal? That's the conversation. That's something around that. Okay, they'll be open to you. They try to be an investor and they got stuck with a property. It needed a lot more work. See, the same situation. They've done some work, but they got stuck. They run out of money. They'll tell you that up front. Okay, rather than most of the upgrading is done. I just have too many deals in my hand right now, and no, but I don't have to sell. If you hear that, I don't have to sell. Don't waste your time on that. Spend your time generating leads, building a pipeline with leads coming in on a daily basis. Okay. So you're dealing with a non-motivated seller. It doesn't matter if you label it investor, buyer, seller, it's non-motivated. So don't waste your time. Okay. And then they go tell you what profit they think you're gonna make. You can make 80K from this. Well, 80K on what? What's your investment? You're gonna be investing $450,000 to make 80K. Is that worth it? Maybe, maybe not. What's your numbers, right? Do you want to make 30%? What's 30% of $450,000, right? $455,000. Let's just assume it's $500,000, right? That you're gonna spend in this situation. What will be 30% of that? That will be 30 times 5. 30 times 5, $150,000. You would like to make $150,000, okay? Because you will have to pay bank, you have to pay closing costs, you have to pay $80,000. Doesn't mean anything with respect to what? I'm making $80,000 with respect to how much am I investing. That's why I will call it return on investment. These are the mindset you want to maintain in this business. So this question is really a mindset question. Maybe some skill set, but in entrepreneurial mindset and skill set, a mix of those two will tell you that, you could tell me any number with respect to what? You could call yourself an investor with respect to what? What are your actions? Are your actions telling me you're motivated? I don't care if you're an investor, you have a deal to sell. Can I solve your problem? You see what I'm saying? These are things you'll be learning as time goes on. But if you want more on that kind of deal and you want to learn how to generate more leads that you can handle, more leads in your pipeline so you don't stop wasting time with non-motivated sellers, go download Smart Real Estate Wholesaling at smartrealestatewholesaling.com. You can download the free PDF. It's also available in paper, Kindle, and audiobook. And if you go there right now, I will give you this for free. This is my other book, Real Estate Money Secrets. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. We'll see you on the next one, and